The call nobody saw coming. Finesse 2Tymes didn't just change lanes. He lit up the whole rap game with one sentence that made everybody stop scrolling. According to Finesse, NBA YoungBoy, a rapper he once had tension with, reached out to the Prince family and asked what it would take to help him get out of his mob ties situation. That one move turned a contract dispute into a full-blown conversation about loyalty, power, pride, and what it really means to stand on business in hip-hop. Because this wasn't just any phone call. This was YoungBoy, one of the most streamed and most unpredictable artists of his generation, allegedly stepping into a situation involving J. Prince Jr., Mob Ties Entertainment, and a rapper who had been publicly saying he felt trapped by his deal. Finesse didn't whisper it behind closed doors. He said it out loud on Live, giving YoungBoy real respect for doing something he never expected. He admitted that for a long time he felt like nobody had his back, nobody cared, and nobody wanted to see him win. But then, the person who reached out wasn't a close friend. It wasn't an industry executive trying to look good. It was someone he had once gone back and forth with online. That's why fans immediately understood this was bigger than music. In rap culture, enemies are expected to laugh when you fall. They are expected to pile on when you're vulnerable. But YoungBoy, at least from Finesse's version of events, chose to move differently. He saw a man caught in a business situation and asked what it would cost to free him. And that single gesture had people asking a dangerous question. Was YoungBoy trying to bring Finesse 2Tymes over to Never Broke Again? If you're watching this from Atlanta, Houston, Memphis, Baton Rouge, New York, Chicago, or anywhere across the world, drop your city in the comments right now. If you think YoungBoy made a real boss move, press 1. If you think this situation was too messy from the start, press 2. And if you follow real rap news, hit subscribe, because this story gets deeper with every chapter. The deal that started the fire. Before NBA YoungBoy's name entered the picture, Finesse 2Tymes had already been making it clear that something wasn't right. The center of the whole storm was his deal with Mob Ties Entertainment, connected to the Prince family and distributed through Atlantic Records. On paper, that kind of situation can look powerful. A respected name, industry connections, street credibility, label resources, and access to the machine. For a rapper trying to rebuild momentum, that can sound like a dream. But according to Finesse, the dream started feeling like a cage. He described the contract as restrictive, heavy, and difficult to move under. He made it seem like every step forward came with another invisible wall. In his view, the paperwork didn't just control the music. It controlled the money, the movement, the timing, and the freedom an artist needs to survive. That is what made fans pay attention. Because in hip-hop, a rapper can look successful from the outside, while privately feeling like he is stuck in a business structure that eats up his progress. The videos may look expensive, the songs may hit the internet, the name may be trending. But behind the scenes, there can still be recoupment, delays, restrictions, approvals, and politics that the fans never see. Finesse also claimed he was advised not to get a lawyer before signing. Whether people believed every detail or not, that part hit a nerve. Because every artist watching understood the lesson immediately. Never walk into life-changing paperwork without your own legal protection. The tension kept building when Finesse started saying he wasn't getting the support he expected. For an artist, momentum is everything. When the fans are listening, you have to feed them. When the streets are talking, you have to move. When shows are booked, you have to collect. If the machine slows down, the whole career can start feeling like it is being held underwater. That frustration didn't stay private for long. Finesse took it to the internet, and once he did, there was no putting the smoke back in the bottle. The canceled show that broke the silence. The moment that really pushed Finesse over the edge came around a holiday weekend, when he said one of his shows got canceled. For most people, a canceled show is just a missed date. For an artist, it can feel like a missed bag, a missed connection with fans, and a public embarrassment all at once. And Finesse didn't treat it like a small misunderstanding. He went online and spoke with the frustration of someone who believed the people around his contract were blocking his money. He called out the situation directly. He questioned why other artists were able to perform, move, and get paid, while he was the one sitting on the sidelines. That feeling, why everybody else but me, became the emotional center of his complaint. You could hear the pressure in the way he spoke. It wasn't polished. It wasn't media trained. It was raw, heated, and personal. He sounded less like a rapper trying to create drama, and more like a man who felt cornered by the very business that was supposed to help him win. That's when the story stopped being just about paperwork. It became about trust. Finesse seemed to feel like the relationship had been damaged beyond repair. In his mind, it wasn't only about songs or shows anymore. It was about whether the people connected to his deal actually wanted to see him succeed. And once an artist starts questioning that, the whole partnership becomes unstable. The internet did what the internet always does. Clips moved fast. Blogs picked it up. Fans started choosing sides. Some people said Finesse was exposing a real problem. Others said he was making everything worse by speaking publicly, instead of handling it behind closed doors. And that is where the danger came in. A private business dispute can still be fixed quietly, but once it becomes entertainment for the timeline, pride gets involved. Every word becomes a headline. Every reaction becomes evidence. Every live stream becomes another match thrown onto the fire. By the time YoungBoy reached out, the situation was already burning. Why YoungBoy's move shocked everyone. The reason NBA YoungBoy's alleged call hit so hard is simple. He wasn't supposed to be the one helping. Finesse and YoungBoy had history. They had traded words before. They were not known as close allies. In the public eye, they were closer to rivals than brothers. So when Finesse said YoungBoy reached out to the Prince family on his behalf, fans immediately knew this was not a normal industry favor. It felt unexpected because it broke the usual rules of rap beef. In hip-hop, pride often gets treated like currency. If somebody you don't rock with falls into trouble, most people expect silence, jokes, or disrespect. But according to Finesse, YoungBoy didn't move like that. He didn't celebrate the struggle. He asked what could be done to help get the man free from a deal he felt trapped in. That is why Finesse gave him respect on live. He didn't act too proud to acknowledge it. He said the move was real. He said he could no longer keep saying nobody supported him when YoungBoy had put his name on the line and made the call. That moment changed the emotional tone of the story. Suddenly, YoungBoy wasn't being discussed only as a controversial superstar. He was being framed as someone who understood what it feels like to be caught in the business side of music, someone who knew what contracts can do, and someone who was willing to help even when the relationship wasn't perfect. It also raised a bigger question. Was this just a gesture of respect? Or was YoungBoy looking at Finesse as a future piece for Never Broke Again? That possibility made the whole situation even more intense. Because if YoungBoy was trying to buy Finesse out or help him transition into a new situation, then this wasn't just about friendship, it was about power. It was about one camp possibly pulling an artist away from another camp. And in rap, that kind of move never stays quiet. Once fans saw it that way, the story became bigger than Finesse. It became YoungBoy versus the old structure. New power versus old power, internet-era influence versus traditional respect. Finesse shows a different side. What made this situation more emotional was the way Finesse talked about pain. He didn't frame everything like a regular rap argument. He opened up about going through dark periods mentally, feeling weighed down, and learning how to survive moments that almost swallowed him. He made it clear that mental health was real to him, not as a slogan, but as something he had personally battled. That changed how some people viewed his reaction. To outsiders, it could look like Finesse was simply crashing out online. But when he explained where his mind had been, the picture became more complicated. He sounded like somebody carrying pressure from every direction. The contract, the money, the canceled shows, the public judgment, and the feeling that the people closest to the business weren't protecting him. He also connected that pain to YoungBoy. Finesse said he understood what YoungBoy might be going through because he had felt similar pressure himself. He pointed out that YoungBoy was younger, more isolated, and often judged in public while dealing with things most people could never fully understand. Instead of using that as ammunition, Finesse showed empathy. That was important because these two men had not always been friendly. Finesse could have mocked him. He could have turned the moment into another round of internet beef. Instead, he chose to say, in his own way, "I understand that kind of pain." That is where the story gained another layer. It wasn't just a business drama anymore. It was two artists, both shaped by pressure, both misunderstood in different ways, finding a strange moment of respect in the middle of chaos. And maybe that is why YoungBoy's alleged outreach meant so much to him. It wasn't only the business help, it was the feeling that somebody saw him. Somebody understood he wasn't just complaining to complain. Somebody recognized that a man can be loud because he feels unheard, angry because he feels trapped, and emotional because the pressure has been building for too long. But while Finesse was speaking from pain, J. Prince was watching from a completely different perspective. J. Prince draws the line. For a brief moment, it looked like the situation might be handled peacefully. According to J. Prince, YoungBoy approached the matter respectfully. He didn't come in reckless. He didn't turn it into a public challenge. He reached out in a way that, from J. Prince's perspective, seemed professional enough to be considered. and Jay Prince suggested he was open to letting the situation go. That could have been the clean ending. YoungBoy makes the call. Jay Prince listens. Finesse gets a possible path forward. Everyone walks away with respect still intact, but that is not how the story played out. Jay Prince made it clear that his willingness changed when he felt the public disrespect continued. To him, respect was the line that could not be crossed. He has built a decades-long reputation in Houston and throughout hip-hop as someone who values order, loyalty, and private handling of serious matters. So when the situation kept spilling onto the internet, he didn't see it as honesty. He saw it as disrespect. That is where the old school and new school worlds collided. In Jay Prince's world, business gets handled behind closed doors. Problems are solved through calls, meetings, and quiet conversations. In today's internet culture, artists often take their pain directly to the fans because they feel that is the only way to be heard. Finesse was operating in one world. Jay Prince was responding from another, and the gap between those worlds created the explosion. Some fans said Jay Prince was right to demand respect. They argued that if someone is trying to help you, the worst thing you can do is keep attacking the people at the table. Others felt Jay Prince let pride get in the way of a solution and turned a business problem into a respect battle. Either way, the result was the same. The door that may have been open started closing fast. YoungBoy's move may have been surprising, but Finesse's public frustration and Jay Prince's response made the situation harder to fix. What could have been a quiet negotiation became a public test of ego, patience, reputation, and power. The YoungBoy and Jay Prince tension. The tension between YoungBoy and Jay Prince didn't begin with Finesse's contract. There was already history between them. One of the most talked about moments involved Jay Prince saying that people had broken into YoungBoy's property and that he had recovered some of his belongings, including keys. Jay Prince presented it like a gesture of goodwill, a way of saying, "We handled this, get in touch, and we'll return what belongs to you." But YoungBoy didn't receive it that way. To him, the issue was not just the belongings. It was the fact that the whole thing was put on the internet. YoungBoy made it clear he didn't want public favors, public gestures, or public relationships. His reaction was cold because he felt the situation should have been handled privately if the intention was truly respectful. That moment says a lot about YoungBoy's mindset. He does not like feeling like he owes anybody. He does not like gestures that can be interpreted as control. And he definitely does not like situations where public kindness can make him look dependent on another powerful figure. So when you place that history next to the Finesse situation, the story becomes even more layered. YoungBoy allegedly reached out to the same family he had once pushed back against publicly. That means he was willing to separate personal pride from business in order to help Finesse. Or at least, that is how many fans interpreted it. But from the Prince side, there may have been a different view. They may have seen YoungBoy's call as respectful, but Finesse's continued public comments as a problem. They may have believed the situation could have been worked out if the noise stopped. Instead, the internet kept feeding the fire. That is why this saga felt like a chessboard. Every person involved had a different reason to move carefully. YoungBoy had his pride and his label. Finesse had his freedom and his frustration. Jay Prince had his reputation and his rules. And when all three forces met in public, the pressure became impossible to ignore. Cameron and Mace enter the conversation. When a rap story gets loud enough, the veterans eventually start talking. That is exactly what happened when Cameron and Mace weighed in. Their reaction shifted the conversation away from just Finesse, YoungBoy, and Jay Prince. They turned it into a bigger debate about what an OG is supposed to be. Their message was simple: if you are an OG, you have to move like one at all times. That line hit hard because it challenged the difference between leadership and intimidation. In their view, an OG should be someone who guides younger artists, gives wisdom, prevents bad decisions, and keeps people away from unnecessary trouble. A real elder is supposed to calm the room down, not make the room hotter. They also discussed the idea that respect in one city does not automatically transfer everywhere. Jay Prince is deeply respected in Houston and has a long legacy in the culture. But younger artists from other regions, especially artists raised in the internet era, may not respond to reputation the same way older generations did. That point struck a nerve. The rap game has changed. In the past, regional power carried a different kind of weight. A respected figure in Houston, New York, Atlanta, Memphis, or Los Angeles could move through the industry with an aura that younger artists understood immediately. But now, artists build their worlds online. Their fans are global. Their confidence comes from streams, platforms, and direct connection to millions of people. So when an older figure expects automatic respect, and a younger superstar does not give it automatically, conflict is almost guaranteed. Cameron and Mace seem to be saying that the title OG comes with responsibility. It is not only about being feared or respected, it is about knowing when to step back, when to guide, and when to keep things from becoming bigger than they need to be. Their commentary gave fans another way to view the situation. Maybe the issue wasn't just Finesse speaking too much. Maybe it also involved older power figures learning how to handle a generation that no longer responds to old rule. And once that conversation started, the story became even bigger than one contract. Pride, power, and the real lesson. By the time all the pieces were on the table, this story had become one of the most layered rap dramas of the year. Finesse 2Tymes was the artist saying he felt trapped, unsupported, and blocked from getting money. NBA YoungBoy was the former rival who allegedly stepped in and asked what it would take to help him get free. J Prince was the respected industry figure drawing a hard line around respect. Cameron and Mace were the veterans questioning what true OG behavior should look like. And fans were left trying to decide who was right. The truth is, every side had something real to protect. Finesse was protecting his future. When an artist feels trapped in a deal, every delay feels personal. Every canceled show feels like a message. Every missed opportunity feels like money being taken from the table. Whether people liked how he handled it or not, his frustration came from a place many artists understand. YoungBoy was protecting his image as someone who moves on his own terms. By allegedly reaching out, he showed a different kind of maturity. He didn't have to help. He didn't have to get involved. But if Finesse's version is accurate, he chose to make a call that surprised the culture. J Prince was protecting his name. In his world, public disrespect cannot be ignored because reputation is part of the business. If he lets one person cross the line publicly, others may try to do the same. But that is the tragedy of the whole situation. Everybody may have been protecting something, but the solution still slipped further away. The biggest lesson is simple. Contracts can build careers, but they can also break trust if the artist doesn't fully understand the terms. Respect matters, but pride can make peace harder. Public pressure can bring attention, but it can also destroy quiet negotiations before they have a chance to work. In the end, YoungBoy's alleged call showed that even former enemies can act with humanity. Finesse's reaction showed what happens when an artist feels unheard for too long. And J Prince's response showed that in hip-hop, respect is still one of the most expensive currencies in the room. The question now is not just who won. The real question is who learned before it was too late. What hip-hop should take from this? At the end of all the noise, the lives, the reactions, and the headlines, this situation leaves hip-hop with a lesson bigger than any one rapper. Finesse 2Tymes' story is a reminder that talent alone is not enough. A rapper can have the voice, the streets, the personality, the fan base, and the momentum. But if the business is not right, everything can still turn into pressure. The contract behind the music can become more powerful than the song itself. That is why every young artist watching this should understand one thing clearly. Before you sign anything, get your own lawyer. Read every line, ask every question, and never let excitement rush you into paperwork that could control your future. NBA YoungBoy's role in the story shows something else. In a culture where conflict often gets more attention than compassion, helping someone you once had tension with can be a stronger move than throwing another shot. Whether people believe his motivation was business, respect, or personal understanding, the act itself changed the conversation. It showed that maturity does not always look soft. Sometimes maturity looks like making the call nobody expected you to make. J Prince's side reminds the culture that respect still matters. Legacy still matters. Reputation still matters. But this new generation also shows that respect cannot only be demanded through fear or history. It has to be communicated, protected, and sometimes adjusted to the way younger artists move today. The old rules and the new rules are colliding, and the people who survive that collision will be the ones who know how to listen before everything becomes public. The most human lesson is this: behind the chains, the streams, the shows, and the viral clips, these are still people under pressure. Artists can feel trapped. Executives can feel disrespected. Fans can turn real pain into entertainment without realizing how heavy the moment is for the people living it. So maybe the real win is not about who looks stronger online. Maybe the real win is learning how to handle conflict before pride takes control. Talk earlier, read the paperwork, respect the people at the table, protect your peace, and never confuse public attention with real resolution. If this story taught you something, hit like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who follows real hip-hop news. Comment 1 if you think YoungBoy made the most unexpected move in this whole situation. Comment 2 if you think Finesse should have handled everything privately. And comment your city below, because the next story might be coming from your side of the map.